Hey guys, this is Scott with Scott Lester Drafting and Design. Today I want to go over how to create an adjustable spring or an adjustable part within Solid Edge. This is more of an advanced feature than just normal extruding and cutting and whatnot. It's something that I quickly learned, and I think after this video you will quickly learn it too. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I have a ANSI inch template open. I'm working in ordered. I do not use synchronous much. So like I said, I'll go ahead and get started with, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a spring. Now, how I create my springs may be different than how you create your springs, but in order for this adjustable part, this is the method that I found worked best for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my solids and drop this down into a helix on the front plane. And then I'm going to draw a line that's going to represent my axis of revolution. And I will do a circle that will represent my spring. So I will say we're going to use a 1/8 inch spring, and say from the middle, let's say with a diameter of 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Let's make it a kind of a larger spring. All right. And then I want to, here, it's not only my axis of revolution, it's actually going to be something else as well, a parameter that will control our adjustable spring. So I'm going to make this, let's say, 2 inches. All right. The other thing I'm going to do is I will rename this dimension and give it a name of spring underscore height. If I can spell. And in this name here, you can't have like any spaces. That's why I've got the underscore, and just click the green accept key. All right. Once I hit close, oh, I know what it is. I forgot to actually name it my axis of revolution. Let's do that. Now I can hit close. Saying that I had multiple profiles drawn. All right. Now I click the axis to identify the start of the helix. So I want to start down here where my circle is at, there, and then I want to do you can set your parameters of your spring. So let's say I want to do axis length. I definitely want to do an axis length and turns because I've specified my axis length here. So I will do axis length, and then normally you can, like if you're remodeling a spring, you can count how many turns is on it. All right, and so I'm going to say, let's say this spring has 6 turns, enter, and then we're going to preview it. So now you can see that I have a spring. All right, I'm going to hit finish. And now I have my helix in here that represents the spring. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a closed ground spring. So if I do a revolve, I'm going to do it on this plane here, and I'm going to, let's say, project this face, all right, to my sketch, and then I want an axis of revolution, and you'll see what I'm doing here. So axis of revolution, maybe, there it is. You have to excuse me, I don't work in Solid Edge every day like I used to. I've taking a full-time position that I'm when Solid works. So, but anyway, so now you can see what I'm doing. I'm revolving to get the spring to come around further. And this is, depending on your view, can make it kind of tough here. So if I kind of come this way, right, and I just want to kind of get that as close to there as possible. So I'm at 160. We'll call that 170 degrees right now. All right. And looks like I can probably go more. So we'll do 175. All right, and then we can start closing it off a little by little. 180. Let's just make a big jump and see if what I don't want to see is I just don't want this to overlap each other. But that'll be fine for now. Maybe that may be too much. We'll go back to 180 just for now. All right, so now I've got that there. I want to do it again. So do a revolve, and I want to revolve this face. My axis of revolution is here. And then I want to project to sketch this so I don't have to draw that circle again. Hit close. All right, and then if you'll remember, we did 180, so I will do 180 here as well, and hit finish. Now I want to, so there's the closed part of the spring. Now let's do the ground part of the spring. So I will do a cut. All right. Now, this is important to remember. Our length of this spring is going to be from the center point here to the center point here, if you remember, because that's how tall that line is that I made. So what I want to do now is in this cut, I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I want to make the center of that, because that's usually where it's going to be ground to, and I'll go to the center of that. Now, just because I don't like leaving anything unconstrained, this part doesn't matter, but if it'll work with me here. Let's see. All right, maybe. All right. So I want to constrain my rectangle as well. For whatever reason, that's just not wanting to work for me. Let's just try it again here. All right, we'll work backwards. I want the middle to the middle, and I want to connect that and that and that and that, and then just for the sake of making sure my sketch is constrained, we'll do 4 inches. All right, now when I do the cut, I'm not going to do a normal cut where I'm cutting to the inside, because then my spring, the inside of my spring goes away. So we're going to click here, and we want to cut to the outside, and I want to do through everything both ways. So now I have a proper ground and closed spring. All right, now I want to save this part. So here I will say desktop, new folder, and we're going to call it adjustable part. Okay, adjustable part blog video. So now I will call this spring. All right. Now what I want to do is, I do not remember where the command was. Again, I don't use this every single day. So if I go down here to find command and I do adjustable, all right, it's on the tools tab. So if I click over on tools, and now we have to tell Solid Edge that we want this part to be adjustable. All right, so click adjustable, and then it says click on the variable or dimensions that you will control the appearance of the part in the assembly. So, and we want to adjust this like a spring. And then what variable do we want to use? So I go back to originally in my helix, I set up my axis length and gave that a name. So if I click here on the variable table, you will notice that I now have the variable, the dimension that I named as spring height. So if I just double click that and then hit exit, it fills this out. So that is the part, the dimension that can be adjusted. Everything else will remain the same. The diameter of the wire, the diameter of the spring, they are not adjustable. I've not given them the adjustability to change. I could if I went and added another variable if I needed, for the diameter to get larger or something, under compression. But just for simple purposes, we'll just say our spring height is the adjustable variable. Click OK, and now I can save this part. All right, now I'm just going to exit this. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another part. And if I remember correctly, to the outside of our spring was an OD of 1.5. So I'm going to revolve me a part here that looks like this. So we will go with an axis there, and all right, make these equal, which they will have to be equal, make these equal, and I want to do a diameter of, we'll do 1.6, just a little bit larger, and then we'll do 2 inches. Alright, and then here, make this 0.25. This will be 0.5. And last but not least, I want to make this symmetric about my planes. Now I have a constrained sketch and can close. Alright, we'll do a 360 revolve. Finish. Now I have a spring seat, so we will call this middle. All right. Then I want to just do a file, save as, and I'm going to call this just spring seat period. Okay, so I'm in the new file. I'm going to edit this revolve to be like so, and we will call this 0.25, and we will call this 0.375. All right, revolve that around. All right, so now I have technically 2 parts, 2 spring seats plus a spring. So let's start a new assembly. All right, and I will go to my desktop to my adjustable part folder. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring in a part. So the first thing I'm going to bring in is my adjustable seat middle, or my spring seat middle. All right, so now that is fixed, that cannot move. All right, then I want to bring in my spring seat. All right, I'm going to concentrically lock that down. All right, and let's flip it. Okay, and then I want to bring in another one. And like I said, I don't know how familiar you are with Solid Edge, but you can move this however you need to, and then drag it in, and it brings it in that orientation. All right, and I want to do the same thing here. Let's lock the rotation. All right, so now if I go to drag component, I have these in here. Now here comes the adjustable part. So once I bring my spring in, it's going to pop up a dialog box that says, how do you want to, this part is adjustable. Do you want to place it as adjustable? Is the sum of this dialog box. This part contains adjustable definitions which will allow the part's appearance to be affected by assembly conditions. If you place it rigid, it will place it in there just as I modeled it. We want to place adjustable, so I'm going to click OK. All right, then it pops up this dialog box before I even made it that says, create a measurement or click the variable to substitute for the value of the selected part. So with that said, this spring is going to sit inside here in this spring seat and inside there in that spring seat. So the measurement I need is from that face to that face. So once I click, I'm going to click measure distance, and I want to be from here to there. And you'll notice it picks that, and we're going to click OK. All right. So now I can mate this. You notice it's in the mate command, like so. And I need to just hide these for a second. All right, there's that. I'm going to mate this to there. All right, and then I'm going to turn these back on, turn my planes on, make that to there, this to here. Now I have a fully constrained part. All right. So now if I drag this, you'll notice the spring goes with it. All right, let's bring another one in. Place adjustable. Same thing, measure distance, and I will pick from that point to that point. Click OK. Now I'm ready to make the spring. So from here to there, from here, and sometimes you've got to there. And same thing, we will turn our planes on, do a right to right, and a front to front. So now once I do my drag part, you'll notice the spring stretches as I move my various parts. And that is how we do an adjustable part. So it's very handy, especially if you're dealing with something. I used to work in the regulator business, and I dealt with springs that would move a valve. So we always put them in as adjustable, just like you see here, to do that. So again, guys, if you have any questions, please comment, send me an email, call me. I'll be glad to show you how to do this again if the video is not clear enough. But hopefully after this video, this is everything you need to properly create an adjustable part. Thanks for watching.